What's going on today, guys? I'm going to be reacting to a segmented speedrun of one of my favorite games of all time, Halo 1. I've seen previous Halo segmented projects in the past, and they've always been just absolutely mind-blowing, so I'm excited to see this one. This is Halo CE Anniversary on Legendary, done in 4607 by numerous amazingly good speedrunners, and I hope you enjoy. I'm Cooj, this is Audie. I hope you enjoy the video.
All right, hello. My name's Goatrope, and you are now watching the Halo Anniversary Done Segmented commentary version. If you'd like the uncommented version, we have a link in the description below. But since you're here, I'm Goatrope. I'm a longtime Halo speedrunner. I founded HaloRuns.com, and I have been super excited to watch this project unfold. And I'd like to introduce you to our three runners. We have Burnt, Cambit, and Kronos. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Burn. I did a bunch of the runs here.
Hey, I'm Cambit. I also did a few levels, just a few.
And I'm Kronos, and I did just one small part, so yeah.
But it was a very important part.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to address is that not everybody knows what a segmented run is. A lot of people watch speedruns on Twitch where the player starts the game and plays the entire thing in one sitting to the finish. That's not what we're doing here today. A segmented run allows players to retry segments of a game as many times as they want. 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, sometimes for weeks on end, until they get the perfect segment. And then you just do that for the entire game and you splice the entire video together, and it lets you create sort of a hypothetical best possible speedrun where you do every single impossible trick, every strategy that nobody thinks you can actually do, and you get to combine it into one really cool video that you're about to watch. We've done a couple of these projects before. The last one that was done in, I believe, February of 2015, and the total time on that was 1 hour, 7 minutes, 4 seconds. We're going to be beating that time by quite a bit. Even the real-time speedrun is faster than that right now, but we're going to beat that run by even more. So with the introductions out of the way, I think we're ready to dive into the action. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, so this is Pillar Bottom. And I forgot to explain what a teleport is. That's a pretty important part of this run. About 1 second into the run, you're going to see the Master Chief jump into the cryo chamber and teleport out of bounds. This is a glitch that involves getting intersected with the geometry in a way that the physics engine gets confused by, and it just sends you flying off elsewhere. And I believe there's 5 teleports in the first 20 seconds of this run. Is that correct, Cambit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these teleports are definitely the biggest difference between this run and any other Halo.
Okay, I'm just gonna go back here and just show you this little map down here. It's just a map of the level, and it's just showing you where they teleport to. Goatrope, I've heard of. He runs HaloRuns.org or .com. Burnt, I've heard of. He's a really good speedrunner. So yeah, let's continue.
Any other Halo speedrun you've seen. So to help with understanding the kind of out-of-bounds nonsense that's going on, we've included a little top-down view of the map in the corner of the video, which should show the Master Chief's position as he teleports around the level.
I think that saved about 18 seconds over the normal
Walking.
Yeah, so we're already way ahead, and we're already getting fragmentation grenades. This is one of the advantages of playing on Legendary. I should point out, yeah, this runs on Legendary, and Legendary is the fastest category in this game because not everybody knows this. The way Halo handles difficulty is when you go up in difficulty, it doesn't increase enemy health, it decreases player damage. So you can do grenade jumps on Legendary that are not possible on Easy, because on Easy, if you do a grenade jump, it just it does so much damage to you, you almost die instantly. But on Legendary, you can do stuff like this and actually boost yourself a little bit further down the hallway, just a little bit faster.
Yeah, each one of these nade boosts on its own probably only saves a fraction of a second, quarter of a second, but when you do several of them in a row, it adds up. And that there was a spawn bump. Basically, Master Chief stands where the Covenant are going to spawn, and as they spawn in, pushes the Chief out of bounds. And with a bit of out of bounds platforming and another cheeky little teleport there, we skip a big chunk of the level.
Yeah, a lot of the speedrun is going to look like this. It's going to be tough to follow, but like I said, it's the fastest way to beat the game. More grenade boosts. Yeah, the game engine gets very upset if 2 objects occupy the same space, so that spawn bump. I think there's a couple more in the run like that. Flood bumps operate the same way if you've seen those.
Yeah, you'd think with the teleports it would just push you just to like nearest available space, but if you approach them at like just the correct angle, the game engine just bugs out and sends you really, really far sometimes. Like,
Yeah, it's very fortunate for us. I'm very glad that all these things
Yes.
happen.
coming up to the ending here. We just need to kill the enemies at the end and then that'll start the outro, right?
Just taking it straight as soon as possible to the end.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
number
this
of
is not
grenade
the-
boosts is so insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not the
Was
route
that
that
like
you
a
would see
dozen?
people run in a full game run. Like that is the riskiest possible. You just hope that the enemies all miss you at the same time, and they do because it's a segmented speedrun, and we can
Chief,
retry
can
things
you
as
hear
many
me?
times as we want.
So how fast was
So
that?
that Pillar of Autumn was a 240, which is about
240.
46 seconds faster than the IL record.
I remember.
My
last
God.
segment,
Ridiculous. So we're into Halo. We're already taking a new path here.
Yeah, if you played the level before, there's normally a single grenade jump that you do here, but by doing it in segmented, we're actually doing a series of grenade jumps here to get to the top, and it's like very pixel precise, I would say. Some very wacky MCC geometry.
Yeah, this no jump.
yeah.
It sort of. There's a couple of differences in the anniversary version that make a difference in the speedrun, and one of them we saw in the Pillar of Autumn was the graphics loading out of bounds, which allow you to navigate easier, which is a big benefit to this project because otherwise there'd be a lot of black screens. But also another thing is the geometry was slightly tweaked in some places to line up better with the anniversary graphics, and in some places it messes things up, but in other places like there we can use it to our advantage.
Okay, that makes sense. Then.
And this first section here, it's
So I should mention that when they made the anniversary remastered version of this game, they modified some of the terrain to match the new graphics, and that added that ledge that you can jump on and grenade jump up. That's why I've never seen that before. Not many people actually run the anniversary version; they run the original. So it's kind of cool to see new tricks being found in the anniversary.
pretty self-explanatory. You just want to clear these Covenant as fast as you can to get the enemy dropships coming in. Also, you want to take
Yeah,
out
so
the
we-
Marines to skip their dialogue, speed things up a bit.
So we could skip this whole area, right? It's just
Yeah, the first trigger that
we need the water.
the first trigger that you actually have to hit is the reunion to a trigger, like well into the level. So these dropships, the way they work is the next one will come after there are 2 or less enemies alive, but not before the previous ship has landed and unloaded. Also, an interesting thing is the second ship, which is this one coming up here, and the fourth ship reuse the same model. And what we can do is, if we clear these enemies fast enough, fourth ship will spawn while the second ship's still on the map, but the script that cleans up the second ship is still running, and it ends up deleting the fourth ship, skipping it entirely.
And
Which
that
is how
is
dropskip
a
works.
trick that's used in full game runs. But right here, we're just having some super optimal combat right here, so the ships come down as fast as possible.
I wouldn't call this super optimal. I probably did this in one segment because it doesn't actually matter how fast you clear it as long as you clear it fast enough. Like, you can't speed it up any more than the timers let you speed it up, which the timers that control the dropship's flight and whatnot.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the first check for the enemies being dead doesn't happen until the dropship starts to lift up again and close its doors. So if you kill them before that, it doesn't matter when you do it, it'll save the same amount of time. So Halo is a nice slow level for us to catch up.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime, a lot of
Of
waiting,
course, we've
a
got
lot
the
of...
stylish grenades.
Oh, yeah.
Swag.
And then we're going to see the famous Warthog, which everybody loves from the original Halo. And we're going to be doing some weird things with it. Some things people might not have seen on this level. Things that have been theorized since I was a teenager, since this game was new,
Yeah,
but have never been done fast enough to be in a speedrun.
yeah, that is true.
A missed shot. What?
I didn't want.
Alright, we've got to restart the whole project. That's
I didn't want to splice through the dialogue. Okay, it would have ruined it.
That's fair.
Yeah, we are, of course, for people who have not played Halo recently, we're just killing time until the Warthog lands. Because Warthogs are a lot faster than running, as you
Yeah.
can guess.
So we could have just walked all the way to the reunion to a trigger, but it would have been slower than killing all these enemies and just grabbing the hog, unfortunately.
So I killed that Marine a little bit early, and you'll see why in about a minute's time. But this is just, you know, holding W.
Yeah, something people should be warned about, if you haven't watched a Halo speedrun before, there's a lot of friendly fire. The Marines are very adept at slowing your speedrun down. They very often have to talk things through before the level will progress. So we do what we can to prevent them from having to talk, so the level goes faster. Sometimes it's cruel, but hey, it's a speedrun. We're trying to go fast.
Master Chief, I'm going to use your suit's transcom system to monitor their chatter.
Just a lot of nothing.
So if you watched a previous speedrun of this level, you'd expect the Warthog to turn right here and do a cool little fling up to the button to summon the light bridge here. But you know, we don't need a light bridge anymore. This is Halo Anniversary done segmented. We throw awesome grenades.
Finally in a row.
Oh, can you believe it?
Even landed right side up.
Decades people have
Nailed
been
the
trying to do
landing.
that. Decades people have been trying to do that, and here it is, finally happening in the speedrun. It's so smooth too.
Massive
I
shout
love
out to
it.
Josh, Jumpyard TV, for developing that setup.
Oh yeah. I should say we have 3 speedrunners in the chat today, but there's just a whole host of like R&D people that have been participating in the community for years and years who just develop these tricks, find these glitches, make setups for them all so everybody can like actually do the tricks. This project would not exist without the entire community backing it. So big shout outs to the community. More driving, more time to kill. This is if this were a marathon, this is where we would do donations, but we're just a YouTube video right now, so
Yeah. Well, I guess we could explain more about out of bounds, maybe. Like, how does that work?
sure, like the
getting it
anniversary
out of bounds
graphics.
in the first place can be tricky.
Yeah.
Like, you usually need like moving geometry or just hitboxes to sort of appear, like in the case of the Covenant spawn bump. But yeah, often the trouble is like out of bounds would be faster in a lot of cases, but it is not really easy ways to get out of bounds. We kind of had to scratch every surface and figure out how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, so
We wouldn't save time in this level, but
we should get back to the present right now and point out we are once again killing Marines because we should explain the objectives of this section. There are 3 crashed drop ships where you have to go rescue Marines from. You can do them in whatever order you want, but if you fail to rescue any Marines, the game doesn't really care. The game just says, oh well, you tried, go on to the next one. So by killing the Marines, the game just decides, oh, you know what, the player tried their best, but they just couldn't save any, so we'll complete the objective and let them move on. We're going to do that in the first 2 sections. Thankfully, in the second section, the Marines are just really weak, and the legendary enemies just kill most of them for us. But we still have to kill a couple to get through here. And then the 3rd area we do have to clear legitimately, because it's the end of the level. But, man, look at that shooting. So that's the
double
beauty of
shot.
segmented. You can just do everything so precisely.
It's also worth pointing out that I have to go into the rocks there to get a trigger to continue the mission.
Right,
And
yeah.
also in the previous area, I also had to go all the way down into the structure to where I did a U-turn to also hit a trigger. Otherwise, it would soft lock the level.
yeah, soft locks in this level are pretty bad.
Throughout this whole game, there's a lot of invisible triggers that you have to enter into, and we thankfully have some tools available to us to look at where they are, so we can actually optimize that. But when you're playing the game, it's totally invisible. You just kind of got to know, like drive to this pixel on the ground, or you can stand up next to this wall, that kind of thing. Oh, look at this perfect combat. Sticky nades across the map, double snipes.
So this area has 13 enemies, 5 elites, 5 jackals, 3 grunts. And the dropship will come after 7 are dead and you've said hi to the Marines. So basically I just want to kill 7 as quickly as I can, go say hi to the Marines, and then the level's basically on a timer from there. Just have to clear this ship, and that's it.
There you go. And Now we're just waiting for the final Warthog to arrive, and then we're going to be moving on to
The
Truth
Pelican.
and Reconciliation. Or sorry, yeah, Pelican, not
Yeah.
Warthog.
Yeah.
So I don't think we pointed out these first 2 levels were both done by Gambit, and this 3rd one is as well. Tell us about Truth and Reconciliation. What are we getting excited
Well,
for?
yeah, things start getting a bit nuts. This
Yeah.
is probably slightly biased, but I think Truth and Reconciliation is my favorite level of this project.
I hear there's some launches.
Yes. So
Not
I
to
did the
spoil
first, what was it,
anything.
40
Yes.
seconds with this
Yeah,
level?
about 40
Oh, sorry, yeah,
seconds.
this is a shared level.
So
Yes, that's right.
I was messing around with it, and
Also,
Having
just as a heads up, final time for Halo was 9 minutes and 10 seconds. I believe that's almost a minute ahead of the current record, which is really
pretty
insane.
good. Yeah.
It's like a very straightforward level to gain almost a minute.
there's not a lot you can do. So
So I gotta explain the launches we're gonna do here. So on
Please
this
do.
level there's these shade turrets. Now we can launch them using grenades and have them hit into us, and usually that would just like splatter us, right? Like you get touched by anything, you just get splattered. But if you press E to flip the shade turret right before it hits you, it grants you like immunity to getting splattered for about 2 seconds. So we're gonna use that to transfer some momentum to us about dying. We launched one up to the top there. We've got one just launched into our back. We're gonna flip it to launch us up to the top here, and then
She landed up there.
sing that up.
Landed another
and get a
grenade.
nice little launch
What
right
is
here.
going on? What is
And there's a
going
couple triggers we had to
guys?
hit.
What the hell is going
Yeah.
on?
You'll also notice
Another
that
flame.
Yeah.
the
Bro,
needlers are
come
just
on.
broken for launches if you use
Yeah,
them
we'll
with
Lands
explain
on
more
that
about
shade.
later.
Snipes the
But-
three
so right
elites.
here, Camper takes over for lift that.
Lands
yeah,
it on the.
it's just
Oh my
clear the
god.
8 waves as fast as you can.
And
Really.
then just annihilates the lift. This is crazy.
combat is absolutely
What is
insane.
going on?
Yeah,
That's
this is
before
crazy
the
combat.
dropship even showed up.
Oh,
Look
the
at these
snipe.
snipes. Oh.
Sniped them all right out through the crack in the door. What is going
There is
on?
a few ways you can skip that
Kills
dropship
everyone.
on other difficulties other than legendary. You
Unreal,
can
man.
do
What?
early waves, but that doesn't work on legendary with the 8 waves. There's another way where you can
Healthier.
sort of same as like drop skip on
Hunters
Pyros.
next.
Oh, the
Nice-
Hunter
nice
double
collab on the
shot. That's
Hunters.
unreal.
Sorry, audience.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there was another way to skip the dropship, but the setup
What
for it was
is
too slow,
going
so it's
on?
faster to just snipe them out as they spawned in.
Okay.
So
It's
this-
about to get wild,
Alright.
right?
Belly
okay,
skip.
we're out of bounds already.
Already.
So what was
okay.
that? How'd you get out of bounds there?
That was a spawn bump. Off the marine,
With a marine.
into a
Marine,
box,
yeah.
and then up into the roof. And that
Okay.
was your idea, and I spent about
Yes,
20
it
minutes
was.
mashing buttons, and it worked.
Anniversary is significantly
I know,
easier
right?
to do out of
So we're now
bounds that
walking
you can
around
actually
on
see
top
where
of
you're going,
rafters,
and
out
the
of
original one,
bounds.
you
Are
couldn't see
we
anything, and it
teleporting
wasn't
now?
all-
Or are we just
Come on,
walking?
audience,
There
stop
was a
falling.
teleport.
There was a
Yeah.
teleport
Some
right
combination?
there. Yeah, if you're familiar with belly skip, which is a trick that's used in full game runs, this right here is a
Oh,
very
this-
extended version of it going
This-
all the
That
way
was a
through the
grenade
level.
jump, this
This
Stop
thing-
we just
teleporting.
teleported off to the other Wraith there. The Wraith in the hangar we teleported inside it and then up onto
What?
the roof. So we could keep going out of bounds.
That was about 3 days of my life there.
And this is the segment of the trailer where we show it from the other side, and you can see shots coming out of the
Falling back there,
rafters
buddy.
into the level.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
we
have
need
to
kill
kill
these
the
enemies here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I believe that took him a lot of segments to get the shots
Yeah.
lined up correctly.
Every
I
shot
believe
is
it.
segmented.
And there's a lot of teleports here as well, isn't there?
Unreal.
Boom, another teleport.
Oh,
right
we're in
there.
bounds. It happened.
Yep.
And now we're
Come
in
up
the
to the
prison room.
Okay, we're almost to the end of the level. Fantastic.
So just for the sake
They're
of...
already in the prison.
I out of bounds sniped every enemy in the control room except the Jackal and the Sword Elite.
Bro, what?
Head back to the shuttle bay and
So
call
I had to
for
like blind headshots.
Okay. Trail there.
So it did take a while.
You made the Marines angry to you here so they chase you faster, right?
Yeah. This was actually really annoying because I was going so like straight line fast. The Marines would
Talked about shooting
get
everybody
left
in
behind
that
and Keys would get
loads
stuck
all
in
the
the
enemies
prison.
in that
So this I had to do this in a couple of
So we should
couple
explain
of
for people who
tries.
haven't played this game recently. We're now bringing Captain Keys back to the bridge we were at before, but he walks very slowly. So if you shoot 2 of the allied marines, Captain Keys gets angry at you and starts chasing you, which lets him get there faster. And it also skips some dialogue at first,
Kills these guys.
which I believe we're about to
It's not
finish.
Oh,
Oh yes.
so-
Oh yeah,
That's a t-
we kill ourselves.
That's a
there.
strat.
Awesome.
That's a
Yeah.
strat.
Yeah.
Yes, that will save time later. We'll
Yes.
explain.
So there
So-
was a whole bunch of dialogue that was supposed to happen there that didn't. And now why did we
Yeah.
just grenade ourselves there?
Yeah,
You'll see.
That'll be something for SC. Right
yeah,
here.
we'll explain that in a
So-
sec.
Okay.
How fast was that team?
That was a 3:55.
Somewhere under
Yeah,
the ground.
that's like
The cartographers
2.5 minutes ahead of the current record. Really insane. And right here, this is
Silent
SC.
cartographer.
And
so I did this
yeah.
level.
Yeah. If
So
you're
then
familiar,
Speedrunner of it. Yeah.
if you're familiar with the route, you'll notice that we are doing something completely different here.
God, this level has gone through so many iterations, and this is the biggest change that's ever happened to this level.
Yeah. We had to go hit a trigger right at the start there, which is why we walked to the left, but now we're coming back.
And
This
now
makes
you're
no,
just
if you've ever speedrun this level, this makes no sense what we're doing, but by golly, it will in a little bit. There's actually a very tiny hint in the trailer for this video that shows what's about to happen, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of people noticed it. I think it was subtle enough.
So the usual strat on this level would be to just walk all the way, like clockwise around the island to get to like an overturned warthog and then drive from there. But there's a warthog you can get once you kill all these enemies. Problem is, if we just drove it from here around the island, it would still be slower. But why go around when you can go above?
so now.
That's why I'm setting up all these grenades on the ground here from the Marines. I'm gonna do a nice
Okay, move out.
little
Go
launch.
find the map here. Show us the
Oh,
location.
how long did that take to
A
segment?
long time. I can't remember now, actually.
Forever,
But
I'm sure.
okay, so instead
That's
of
not
driving
it.
around, we're gonna do a clip through the ground here using the turret.
Yeah.
Push us into the hog to push us into the ground.
Bro, what
I'm gonna
is
bounce
going
off, like, the
on?
hallways
all the way to the
And
bottom
head all the way
of
down to where the
shaft?
button is that we need to
Come on.
push.
Really?
That's
And we get a nice
unbelievable.
little
Stack.
boost there too.
Oh, and straight into stick stack, of course.
Yeah, straight into stick stack. So using the overshield here, it makes you temporarily invulnerable for a couple seconds while it's charging up. So we can use that to
What? All
survive
the way
any
to the
amount of
top.
grenades and launch all the way up to the top here.
And you have to shoot
Nothing's
to skip the
loaded.
shafted cutscene because you never went through it the
Yes.
first time. That's hilarious.
That's right.
Loaded.
And now there's no
So yeah,
enemies
when
here.
you're shooting, you're in danger and the
There
cutscene just
should
won't
be
play, which
spawns
is
up here,
nice.
though.
Wow. And that silent
And-
cartographer. It's now on an auto.
That's
count.
silent
Nice.
cartographer.
Unreal.
Yeah. So the rest of the level, yeah, we're just waiting for the pelican to come in and finish up.
Just having
We're gonna
fun
have a
with
little
the
bit of fun.
invisible
Yeah.
Oh,
A bit of water here.
of course. No segmented run is complete without a little bit of wall drawing.
That's right. Oh, the rocket sled run I got going on.
Reaction. Those always got me. every
Very
time.
nice
beautiful.
chain reaction of grenades.
Thank you. Oh, so that trick we did at the end of TNR where we killed ourselves, so that got our revert timer really low, basically. So the next time we die, instead of it waiting for like a second for us to automatically revert, it's going to be like near instant. And using that, we can skip the ending of, well, kind of skip the ending. You could explain that better than I could,
It's,
Cam, but that was your idea.
It's on anniversary for some reason. It doesn't let you skip the cutscene until after the fade, even though despite in the original game, Bungie has made the cutscene skippable at that checkpoint that you got there. So technically, after that checkpoint, if you revert, the level will just end, because that's the way cutscene
That's
skipping
right.
works. And so that's what we did there to just end the level a bit faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the final time for SC was 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Very, very fast.
That's very fast. Yeah, so coming to AOTCR, another one online. So I'm doing as many grenade boosts in the start section here, and not getting hit at all by these enemies, otherwise my shields wouldn't recharge to do them all. But we're coming up to what we'd usually call a Banshee grab, but instead of doing it the normal way, we're gonna do something
What
a bit
is
spicy
going
here.
on?
Double
What?
shade boost across the bridge.
Yep.
What is going
We're gonna
on,
bring
man?
the Banshee over down to the other side of the bridge and do
Okay.
the Banshee grab here. By
quicker to
manipulating
get the
its
Banshee over
position, you
here.
can kind of cause it to get stuck and eject
Yeah,
Banshee
for
and eject
pilot.
Elite
I
out.
know that one.
They're gonna
He's
set up
teleporting.
a little teleport using the Banshee.
Is that a bounce?
Get out of bounds here.
And you
now
also
we're gonna
stuck
use the
yourself with
bouncer.
the grenade as well.
Yes, I did to
We're
get
out
a
of
bit
bounds.
extra high.
Yeah.
Alright, no, I'm too
So
trail.
now we're out of bounds with the Banshee, flying through the void. But this is a trick
What
we
is
call
going
Bull
on?
or Banshee out of level. In normal speedruns, this is only seen on 2
Yeah,
betrayals.
that's what I recognize it
But
from.
it is possible on this level too, and by doing it from this side, we don't have to fly under the canyon. So it
Okay.
actually saves a bit more time. That's why I did the shade launch over to this side, because it's more in the direction we gotta go. There's not much to see out
The
here.
only downside is it's blind.
Oh, there's
But
some
we are
geometry.
flying somewhere.
We can at least see
Yes.
more because we're on anniversary graphics. On classic graphics, you'd see literally nothing. But anniversary
Yes, that's
occasionally
right.
lets you see things.
Yeah.
We do have load zones that we need to hit here, where it says loading done. Can't see it now because it's a little cutscene thing. But on this level, the only thing we actually are required to do is hit the button at the very end that opens the final door. And to get that button to be physically loaded in, we still need to hit the load zones on the way. And they unfortunately do need to be hit in order. They only can go in sequence. So we're gonna pop out of the Banshee to just like get inside and then hit the trigger, then immediately hop back in.
Yeah, because the triggers are mostly in bounds, and we are out of bounds. We want to stay out of bounds, so you just have to like barely clip the Chief's like foot into the room.
That's
Hit the
right.
trigger and then hop back in the Banshee and get out.
Yeah, because
This
if
is
you
just
if part of
mind-blowing.
your Banshee just went in bounds here, it would just completely get stuck. It like gets sucked back in bounds because it really doesn't want to be out of bounds here.
Yeah. Look at this.
All right,
This is
we're
crazy.
coming up to the final teleport. We're gonna do it a bit earlier than where the
Okay, that's the
usually
one you
do
usually
it.
teleport with.
This took me about a
So
week.
he's gonna
Honest to God,
teleport
this was so
here.
hard.
I wish there was a way to convey how
Right
insane
to
that
the end
teleport is.
one.
Like you
Yeah.
do not get that distance with the Banshee
Holy
teleport.
shit.
It's unreal.
You know, especially when you're not on flat ground. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And right to
What?
the button. Oh, that was
Yeah, right to the button.
Oh.
Ah, free for free guilty spark. This is a fun one.
Wonderful.
Never
I'm so
played
excited
again
for
now.
this one.
So we're going to be doing more of the shade launches here at the start. So using like the E to flip to, you know, be immune to it. We're going to be going around the left instead of the right at the very, very start here. Getting up there. So this little pathway is very unusual for the normal speedrun. It's going to make a bit more sense for the angle of the launch we get later. A nice little slide up the... If you uncrouch when you hit a slope, you can get a little speed boost.
Oh yeah, just a heads up. AOTCR was
Yep.
2 minutes and
Okay,
59
so
seconds.
Really, really
Oof.
big.
59.
Not bad.
Jumps, I guess.
So here's the shade we're gonna launch with. Let's call it Bob, I guess. And, we're gonna launch.
And there's
Down through the tunnel here.
floating SN,
You know, pick up some
sorry,
stuff off
never
the
seen.
enemies. And we had the shade land in a nice spot there. That should be fine. Don't look at the mini-map. So
He's
here
out of
we've got a
bounds,
little
what?
bunch of teleports. So this is actually using the new
What the
geometry
hell's
for the most
going
part.
on? He's already the
This is one of
second
the levels that's
elevator.
sort of most affected by the
He's
new
out of
MCC
bounds.
geometry. And we just skipped what we did, reveal skip right there. Very... we just skipped like about 80% of the map, I'd say.
Yeah, I think this speedrun is
Yeah.
weird in that the things happen too fast to actually explain. You just have to be like, we just
Hmm.
teleported a bunch, and now we're at the end of the level.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Another
Unreal,
little
man. Now,
set of
yeah,
teleports
they're
here. Here we're at
legit.
a
How-
room
I don't know
where
what to
there's usually
do
the
to get out of
broken lift that comes
bounds.
down. We just
I've never
gone there
seen
to
that
help get
before.
another teleport. And now we're at the final
The
lift about to
slides.
come back out into the swamp.
Slides
So
are
in this
so
final swamp
hard.
area, there's no shades usually
of
for
bounds
us to
again.
use.
Why, though?
We usually just have to walk straight to the end,
Show off.
where we just kill 2 sentinels and the level ends. But using some black magic, we managed to get our friend Bob to show up again.
Yeah, this is
So
the
we,
shade from the start of the level, right?
Yes, this is the exact same shade from the start of the level there. We managed to actually launch him through
Okay.
out of bounds and have him land in this final left part of the level
Which
here.
these are not even loaded at the same time. Like it was in nether space
Yes.
as we did all the middle
Nice
sections.
stick.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the technical details
Kill
of
these
that
guys,
are
7
quite
seconds after they
complicated.
die, you teleport.
Once we kill those 2 sentinels, for some reason the game, just, even though they're friendly, like, because once those 2 sentinels are dead, you know, put the level on a timer.
There's the end.
We die at the
Library.
end there just for fun's sake.
Just because it's funny.
Also worth pointing out that the game doesn't actually check the sentinels are dead until 7 seconds after they spawn, so there's quite a lot of leeway.
Over the wall.
So, yeah, start a library. So the usual start on Legendary here, we'd go and grab a flood and do what we call a flood bump. We'll have to explain what a reviver is later, but we're not going to do that at all. So we're going to use, I think this is the only case in the run we're using phantom geometry, which is where there's some holes in the
There's-
wall that we
there's a
just
hole
like
in the wall?
flew through right there. It's just a mistake that Bungie made, is that
Okay.
some walls are just missing their geometry.
What?
We jumped through, we've done a bunch of teleports to get
I've
past
never
the
seen a
first door
library
there.
like this.
And that
I've seen
teleport
a
there,
little bit
that
out of
might be the
bounds.
longest teleport in the run we just
All
did.
the way to the
right
bottom.
there.
70 units or thereabouts.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very, very long. So it was using the little lights in the ceiling. They just happen to give very long teleports, and we've always come to the first lift here.
So there's been no
Wow.
enemies. We just jumped through a
Yes.
hole in the wall and then teleported a bunch of times. And now we're on the elevator.
Yes, pretty
This
much.
is
And unfortunately, there's
fantastic.
no way to skip these lifts. Just kind of just gotta wait on them.
Yeah, we put a decent amount of time into that too. Like people tried,
Mm.
but these elevators just have to happen.
Yeah, it's
Sadly.
unfortunate.
By the way, the final time per guilty spark was 2 minutes and 17 seconds, which is a minute and 20 faster than the current record.
Ridiculous.
I get a little boost there from a carrier from behind. Speaking of carriers, we're gonna do a trick called carrier bump. So, you know, when these little squidgy guys fall over, they usually spawn a bunch of popcorn when they explode. For some reason, the first frame that those
Teleport
popcorn
from that
spawn,
guy, like halfway
they have
across the
geometry,
chasm on the
which
other
can
side.
intersect with us and cause us to teleport.
is
And we
insane,
teleport a
dude.
very long distance just now.
Very far.
Like, very, very far.
I believe that's like one of the longest carrier bump
Mm.
teleports that I've ever seen.
Oh, there's a bunch of popcorn about to spawn right here as well. I'm going to use that just to get inside the door there.
You use the
and teleport up onto the door.
popcorn flood to
And
teleport?
come over to this light.
I've
So this
heard
is
that
another one of those lights we can use for long teleports. Here we're just going to do a sequence of short ones. Do a bit of platforming. So we're trying to get our way over to that lift in the background again.
Wow.
There we go. Come over to the lift
And a
now.
little slide too.
So there's a second
Just
lift.
have that polish.
This is ridiculous. This is
Yeah, it's...
You're not even fighting anybody. The fact that this is on Legendary is completely irrelevant. There's no enemies.
Yeah, you're right.
You just glitch out of bounds and then teleport, 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 teleport.
Hmm. So what happens in this? So we're gonna do a flood bump finally. So yeah, so there's some flood in the game that like to play dead. We call them revivers. You shoot them, they fall down, pretend to be dead, and then they get back up. When they get back up, the hitbox like reappears instantly, and we can use that to like intersect with the chief if we're standing on top of them. Flip into geometry like that.
And start
And from
teleporting
those-
again.
Yeah,
Of
and then we
course.
can start teleporting again.
Unreal.
So this is coming up to what we call Dark Door. We're just going to keep out of bounds platforming past it.
Okay, so we're skipping Dark
Which
Door
is nice.
completely.
Dark Door is a source of a lot of frustration for Halo speedrunners. So just totally going around the whole thing it's
Look at that
satisfying.
graphic in the background. That's cool.
So little teleports we can do
Sick
here as
result.
well. Just get across these gaps. Long one there, actually.
'Cause we're like half out of bounds right now. It's like kind of a
Yeah.
it's like jutting out.
Our feet are kind of like inbounds, but the
Yeah.
rest of us isn't. Yeah.
I'm sure the physics engine is very happy about that.
Mm.
Dark
So this is the
teleport.
door after what we call Dark Door. There's a trigger we needed to hit there, but now that we hit it, we're coming back up, and we're gonna try and get a teleport all the way over to the final lift of this little light right here.
That's a
into
big
the
teleport
abyss.
right across the
And
canyon.
here
Into
we
the
are.
abyss. And here we are.
That's ridiculous.
Last elevator.
Yeah, this level, I think, is the most time save out of any of the levels we've done
Oh, it's gotta be.
because of these teleports.
Yeah. By a
Um,
lot.
So coming up to the final one, sitting on this slow lift, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be carrier bumping again. I'm going to get a little boost off this one on the corner. Nice. But in the back left corner here, there's another carrier. We're just going to use him to bump into the wall, jump across out of bounds. There's a series of triggers we have to hit here, unfortunately, which kind of complicated the route.
This is just crazy.
And we can teleport on top of the door, teleport over to the next door, and then we can go back in bounds again.
I think one of the benefits of this level having such repetitive geometry is that once you find a way to teleport, you can just use that ability over and over and over through the whole thing.
Exactly, yeah. No, there's the structures of the lights that we're using. We must use that like a dozen times here.
Yeah.
Easily.
Getting on top of the doors as well must be pretty consistent.
Exactly.
What's gonna happen here?
And so we're gonna use another reviver here. That guy is landing right here. And in combination with the door, that can send us off to the side, and we're just gonna grenade jump into the ending cutscene trigger right
And
here.
just the fact that you can
Wow.
just
Teleport
shoot
to
him
the
on
left
the
of where
air
we
and have
usually
him land
approach it
right
from.
where he needs him.
A bit confusing.
That's crazy.
The energy barrier surrounding
How fast was that?
will deactivate when we reach the ground
That
floor.
was 5 minutes and 40 seconds, which is
5:40?
almost 5 minutes faster than the current world record.
Not quite half, but
Yeah.
very
Oh my
near.
god. And of course, this level has the longest unskippable cutscene in the game. 63
Yes.
seconds, I believe.
Yeah.
Something around there,
Unfortunately, we can't skip it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
3 lines in the script, Bungie. That's all it would have needed.
Yeah. It's just a very important part of this story. You're not allowed to miss it.
Yeah, it's a very out of bounds library.
Your organic form renders you vulnerable to infection.
2 betrayals
Index
coming up.
must not fall into the hands of the flood.
What do we have to say about 2 betrayals,
Activate the
Candid?
installation.
Yeah, Two Betrayals went
Blood is
through,
spreading.
I
We
think
must
about 4
hurry.
different versions I did. Like, I think the version that we were going to take initially was I did back in February. And
Oh wow, the start of this project. It was the first
Look
level,
out.
it was
right?
the first level done, and I got it. The standard kind of went up quite a lot since then, so I kind of felt like I had to redo it. So this ended up being the last level finished.
We can't let the monitor activate Halo. We have
So
to
we
stop him. We
showed
have to
the
destroy
Banshee out of
Halo.
level trick on AOTCR.
According to my
My
analysis
understanding
of
is
the
that there's going to be
available
some of that.
data,
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Just a little
We'll
bit?
have to come
it's
back
the
here.
same map as AOTCR mostly, but unlike AOTCR,
We need to trigger a detonation on
this
a
level
large
you have to hit
scale.
all the triggers. Every single one in order, without exception, or the level won't end. There's 45 triggers that you have to hit in
I'm going to
sequence,
search what's
Right,
left.
and they're all invisible.
and it does complicate things slightly.
Located the crash site. There's machinery in these canyons. So, if we damn the location of the nearest
So
postal
this
So we're on our way to the Banshee here.
this
Throwing grenades in
was
the air for some reason.
this was painful. This is the real super slide.
Wow.
Ooh, when you hit the angle so you don't die.
That's crazy.
All the
Banshee's
way to the
coming.
Banshee.
Look at that angle.
That's
amazing.
bonkers, man.
That's a thing of beauty.
Have you ever tried slide bouncing and stuff like that? Like slide
I think we're gonna set up the Banshee out of level, right?
Yeah, like on Assault in the Control Room,
Just a slight
do the
delay when you
sticky
put your
boosted
jump input
teleport
in,
to
there's a
get
slight delay
out of
before it
bounds
does
quickly.
anything, so it just completely screws everything
Oh,
up.
I never explained how the Banshee teleport works, but basically by
Banshee
mealing
out of
it, we can have it
bounds
sort of
here.
crush us.
I've seen this
Just the
before.
same sort of way that out of bounds geometry
Not
can
probably-
have us
probably
be in places it
completely
doesn't like us
different
being.
So this sequence of like hitting a hallway to load the next section and then hopping back into Banshee, we're gonna be doing that a few times this run, I understand.
Yeah. So I have to wait here for for the dialogue to finish before the next trigger actually wakes up,
Head through that door. That's the way to the
and then I
next
can hit it. And I have to hit these ones out of bounds because the canyon is loaded, so that corridor has collision. And this part, I'm basically just flying through the triggers and trying to arrive at the next trigger at the earliest possible cycle. Just do this section as fast as possible.
It's crazy because
How did the cycles work?
Well, all these triggers are on 1 second
all
cycles,
this would be
and
invisible. You'd have to be doing
the
this
next
completely
trigger will
blind.
wake
you'd
after
have
you've
to
hit
either
the
be following
previous trigger,
coordinates
generally.
or something to that nature.
And so
It's just
you
absolutely
can sort of
ridiculous.
manipulate
So
the
it's kinda cool
cycles if you know.
that
Yeah.
we could actually visualize.
So we're
it
flying so
now,
fast that we go
actually
through a
seeing
trigger
what's
in
actually going
much
on,
quicker than
rather
1 second.
just
Really.
watching
Yeah,
it
you're
like
supposed to be
stream
on
for
foot
a few
right now,
minutes.
but we're in a Banshee.
Yes. Exactly.
So I want to arrive at the trigger when the game is checking.
That
Are you
makes
in
it
the
a
trigger?
lot easier to actually
Yeah,
play it, so.
just in case it's not clear why we're flying through the walls, like none of this geometry is actually loaded.
Yeah. The game, like the geometry loader in the game, thinks that we're back at the start of the level. So none of this is real. It's rendering, it's showing, but it's not physical.
Yeah, this is where the anniversary graphics are really useful.
Yeah, none of this would be possible on the 2003 version or the 2001 version of this game.
It's theoretically possible, but not in any practical sense, because you can't see where you're going.
Some more triggers hitting here.
Yeah, so this slight deviation in the route, this saves like 2 seconds over what I would normally do.
So this canyon is now loaded and physical, right?
Yeah. So I have to hit this trigger out of bounds, but just grazing the floor. It's pretty tight.
Heading up to the second pulse generator, is it?
Yeah. So another thing to point out is, if there was one thing right at the end of the level, we wouldn't have to hit any of these load zones. We could just hit all the required triggers and fly to the end of the level and hit the end level trigger and it would end. But there's one trigger in the last canyon that requires us to have the geometry loaded in. And I'll point that out when we get
Where
there.
are you going, Naughty?
I located the Pillar of Autumn. She put down 1,200 kilometers.
So all of these
upstairs.
steps, everything we're doing here is just to satisfy that one specific trigger at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the famous 5 flood trigger, 4 flood trigger?
5, yeah.
Five.
What are you doing back there, buddy? Just hanging
Yeah,
out.
there's a group of flood that have to die for it to advance the script to the next trigger that we need to get to. They can't die if they're not physically loaded in, unfortunately, which is why we're having to physically load in all these places on the way.
Hey, we're inbounds again. We did it. It's been so long.
Not dying here is...
Slamming the Banshee through the door.
The flood there are so numerous and they have rocket launchers and everything.
The number of times I've been smushed by my Banshee
So,
after
final run here. 10 flood initially spawn after you hit this trigger, which brings down the black bars. So there are 10 flood. You need to kill, well, 5 of them need to die. So the Covenant can kill some of them. So I kill one of them with the fuel rod and splatter 2 more, and the Covenant take out the other 2. And that, if you don't kill those flood, these enemies here won't spawn and it'll break the level and you won't be able to complete the level.
Get a Banshee following there as well.
Yeah, it got hit by a
So
rocket.
we flew over there to hit an
Oof.
invisible trigger. The hopefully last trigger before the level end.
Yeah. And here, cheeky little teleport.
Because why walk? Why walk through the
Teleport's
hallway
always
when you can
great.
teleport?
Saves 2 seconds. Yeah.
Final pulse generator. It's missing its
Final
graphics because of
target
the triggers we
neutralized.
skipped,
Let's
but
get out of here.
still works fortunately.
Oh, unreal.
Keys.
Yeah.
How fast is that?
That
Excited to
was
see how Keith
6
is.
minutes and 11 seconds.
Wow.
About a minute ahead of the current
Grenade
record.
boost.
Keys. We've got the shortest level
Captain?
in the speed run,
Swap
in
up
the
right
normal
here.
speed run.
Flood bump out of bounds.
Gonna be doing a little bit different strats here. Basically, in a regular
Okay.
speedrun, we can skip like 90% of the map by using the flood to sort of bump out of bounds and get to where you punch Captain Keys in the face. And that's basically what we're doing here, but faster.
You're being a little adventurer today, aren't you?
Yeah,
Those
you
were
just
teleports, right?
Yeah, you just
You
Yeah,
can't
we-
even tell.
bumped as soon as possible and then teleported like a couple times into the trigger where we
Yeah.
had to hit and then back into the cutscene room.
Yeah, I think there was like 6 teleports I just did in that starting section around that. Like, there was quite a lot. There's a few triggers that had to be hit there, so we couldn't
know
come
animation
straight
now.
here.
We can't let the flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect,
And then we got another unskippable cutscene, unfortunately.
what he'd want us to do.
Yep. 34 seconds, I believe.
I kind of like this one though. Oh, the animation glitches out because the flood kills the
Oh, yeah.
cinematic version of Chief.
Yeah, the cutscene doesn't stop the flood from existing, so they come in and kill you.
They were meant to be dead.
Let's go back to
Wait, are we
Another
reviver
flood
bump?
bumping
Oh, we're
again? Okay, we're out of bounds
Yep.
again.
Come on.
Yes, so we use that flood reviver to get out of bounds, do a couple short teleports.
Oh
that section only saved like 2 seconds doing the flood bump.
And he's in the final room.
And
we're at the
that's,
end.
that's it for keys.
Wow, great level.
Very short level.
We're on a timer now, so just waiting for the banshees and the level end. Gonna have some fun with them.
I'm curious to see where you fly at the end. There's a lot of fun options.
Yes, so these banshees are really glitchy because you're never really meant to go anywhere with them, but they're completely missing collision. You can just fly straight through walls with them.
Grab one of the escort banshees when you
And
return to
the
the
cutscene at the start where you drop down into the coolant pools is still there, like the trigger for it.
Oh, so you
can
hit
still
it and it
trigger
tries to play.
Yep.
Oh,
And
that's
so
awesome.
now we've got the ending cutscene and the drop cutscene overlap, so it looked kind of weird for a sec. The ending cutscene is still playing even though we're like moving around there.
crazy.
And then it
the
just
level
fades
still
up to the
ends.
next level. That's so
Yeah.
good. Oh, final level, the Maw.
Yeah, we're here
I
already.
think we're going to be going out of bounds and teleporting again, aren't we?
That's
Probably.
right. How fast was keys there?
2 minutes and 2 seconds, so unfortunately not sub 2 minutes, but still 16 seconds ahead of such a short IL. That's really
Here's
impressive.
out of bounds using the sentinel there to glitch through the wall.
The Sentinel,
really
like,
Here's a
under the
Minutes,
floor.
but still 16 seconds ahead of such a short IL. That's really
Here's
impressive.
Came through the
out of
floor, I
bounds
don't-
using the sentinel
Is
there
that
to
actually in
glitch
the
through the
game?
wall.
Is that actually a thing?
And there was
I've never
a sequence
noticed
of
that.
4 teleports I think I just did to get over to the load
Because you
zone.
loaded them so fast.
So usually on in the speedrun of this level, we use some of the doors the flood bash down to get out of bounds, but
Okay, nice teleport.
possible
Another
that the
teleport,
sentinels
another
can
teleport.
spawn out of bounds, and using that we can glitch our way through the
Another
wall.
one.
God, these teleports are unreal.
Yes, so that was a lot of teleports just now. Still hitting load zone, so we're heading over to the armory to
Oh,
pick
that
up a
was a big
rocket
one.
launcher. And we're gonna head to the reactor and blow her up.
What?
Little teleport we can do.
You grab the rocket from out of bounds?
That's right.
engine room located.
Another
We're here.
one.
Now we're inside the reactors, shooting them in from behind.
He's out of bounds in
Up
the
on
final
the top
room.
one there,
Oh,
and now we can go back in bounds.
So that's the end.
That was the whole level. You never went in bounds.
Oh, and this flood here, can follow us. Your hand. You might be a reviver.
Stop going out of bounds.
I can't help it.
This is ridiculous.
So we had to wait a couple seconds for a trigger to activate, then we can teleport to the left here.
Wow, and you teleport right into the elevator.
And we actually glitched partly into the wall of the elevator here. Which is why the elites are really confused and don't know where I am.
I've got a hunch.
They have a feeling I'm over here somewhere.
Not totally sure.
I think there's 7 enemies. Let's count.
Oh, and another
And
teleport.
as soon as we hit the load zone, we do a teleport to the top of the lift there. We can get over here just a little bit faster.
What?
This is where Kronos takes
Teleport
over.
out of an
but,
elevator?
because of the triggers we skip, there's not going to be any enemies for this Warthog run here. Tell us about the
Just wants to
driving.
go everywhere I don't want
Yeah,
him to.
it's just typical driving for the most part.
Just an empty hall.
Standard.
Oh, we don't have our music either. The
Yeah.
usual jam.
Skip all the music triggers.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, so just some clean driving there in a standard Warthog run.
Yeah, that wiggle driving on the left was. It's only been a thing for like the last couple of years. We used to go through the center, right?
Gertie used to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
People decided it was too hard, and people called it segmented driving because the segmented run did it. And then people were like, you know what? If we just practice a little bit, we could probably do it. Oh, hey, what's happening now?
Oh yeah. So you
Okay.
get out
Blast
and
the
back
hog.
into the hog
Nice.
and do a double front flip.
I love
Saves
that.
about half a second.
Totally worth it.
But it's plus 1,000 style points, so totally worth it.
Oh yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, just some more standard driving from here on.
It's very eerie not having the enemies or anything around.
It is. It's weird. And like there's supposed to be cinematic explosions and like debris flying around, and it's just not there.
That's right.
Oh, there's a bit of fire. No explosions though.
Oh yeah. I reckon the ship's still in that working order.
Yeah. Seems fine to me.
Some more of this driving.
The wiggle driving, I like to call it. This only saves like half a second over going through the center road. Or was it more like a full second?
I think it's a full second if you drive like perfectly.
It's very hard to do though.
It might even be more than that.
Yeah.
Like the gap you have to squeeze through is too small for the Wardogs. You have to kind of like swerve side to side to make it through.
Yeah. Also, because we skipped all the triggers, Bowhammer doesn't appear.
We saved
Yeah, so she
Bowhammer.
never
So we
died.
saved her.
Yeah.
So we're coming out to the 360 up ahead, I think it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
the iconic moment.
No explosions.
It's just some more clean driving. That part in particular is very rough. So many bumps.
Yes.
Very easy to like lose a lot of speed.
Same with these little tunnels here, like that's not really flat ground. You're
Yeah.
climbing up and down. Very difficult to do optimally.
And coming up right here is cool 360.
Mm.
So
So
normally
it
we
is.
would land on the ramp below, but by driving onto the side here,
Oh,
it
okay.
actually saves about a
Beautiful.
second and a half.
That's smart.
Clean
It's very
driving.
difficult, but that's smart. I've never seen
Now
that
come up to
before.
ending, all the triggers are gonna start kicking in again.
And so normally here we would drive the Warthog and brute force our way through the barrels, but instead we're gonna do a rocket launch on, flip ourselves to the
Yeah,
end.
what a way to end
Look
the
at that.
run.
That velocity,
Unreal.
Yes.
What a dramatic finale. There's still no music.
yeah, I know. It just keeps
Man.
thinking that we're still like on the lift. Like,
Yeah.
what a
That's
run. So what's the
crazy.
final time for more there?
That was a 5-minute and 22-second long.
That's fast.
And what was the whole run? What's the entire final time?
Is that 46 and 7 seconds?
Yep.
46
46
minutes.
Unreal.
minutes and 7
7
seconds. That's about almost
Just
20
over
minutes
20 minutes?
faster.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unreal. I remember
Then the last
in
segment to go.
2004, we had a project called Halo Under 2. We were trying to beat the game combined in under 2 hours. I don't think my 16 or 17-year-old self would believe you if you came back in a time machine and you said, hey, 20 years from now, there's going to be a 46, 47-minute run. Totally mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I have to applaud all three of you and everybody who supported this whole project. I'm so glad that this exists. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And speaking of the community supporting this, I would like to draw your attention to a little website called haloruns.com. It's the premier destination for speedrun videos and streams and leaderboards and community. And we're all very friendly, and we want you to come hang out and start playing Halo because it's awesome.
Oh, especially join the Discord. We're very active over there.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to start learning or anything, or even just ask some random questions,
Oh, yeah.
come give us a.
Very supportive
It was
community,
cool.
very welcoming.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that segment run. So we started the first level. Was it back in February of this year?
Yeah, I think I started doing drafts in like January, February. Yeah.
Yeah, finished in November. But there were a couple years beforehand that we were working on strats, and
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always been strats in development for years. People coming up with new tricks, new ideas.
It's been a long time
So
in the
it's
making.
very cool to see it.
It's hard to get one run together because in the process of making the run, people find more and more tricks just in
That's right.
perpetuity.
A
So
lot of
I'm really
times
glad
it's
that this
yeah,
came
from
together.
Sturdy.
I'm super impressed by it.
Last I saw you was in
We
October
should probably close this out.
yeah.
Thank you for watching this. Please find Burnt, Cambid, Kronos on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever they are. Follow them. They're awesome people. Find them on haloruns.com. Thanks for watching. Any final words,
Yeah.
guys?
Nah, just
Nope.
thanks for watching.
Yeah, hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hope it wasn't too out of bounds and glitchy for you. That's it's fast.
Well, that was a lot of fun. That completely blew my mind. Man, I remember when Halo 1 Done Segmented came out a long, long, long time ago. They ran like I think a 117 something on Legendary, and back then that was completely mind blowing. Like nothing had ever been done like that before. Like that was so fast. Like 46 minutes for a Legendary run is literally, I don't know, 7 or 8 times faster than my casual easy playthrough that I did a while back. So just to see that is just completely mind blowing. Like that was amazing. I really hope they do something with Halo 2. Halo 2 is my favorite game of all the series. Um, Otherwise, I know they did one for ODST as well, and I might do that one. I might watch that one because ODST was the very first Halo game that I actually ever owned myself. I played Halo 2 or 1 and 2 with my friends, like sleepovers and stuff when I was a kid, but I never had an Xbox, so I never owned it. So yeah, I'll be reacting to those eventually. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was, again, I'm Cooge. This is Audie, my beardy, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.